a live presentation of CBC Sports in high definition.
Tonight on Hockey Night in Canada.
It's Game 6, baby!
As the Pens battlers in!
It's the Stanley Cup Playoffs. Next on Hockey Night in Canada!
There's a buzz on the street, hottest ticket in town. You got to see, this is it, there's no doubt. It's winner take all, that's what the game's all about. Yeah, yeah. All the big guns gonna shoot out the lights. The place will be rocking 'cause it's Saturday night. Hard-hitting, fast-breaking, bullet on ice. The place will be rocking 'cause it's hockey tonight. All the big guns gonna shoot out the lights. The place will be rocking 'cause it's Saturday night. Hard-hitting, fast-breaking, bullet on ice. The place will be rocking, baby. It's Saturday night. It's Saturday night. The place is rocking 'cause it's Saturday night.
From Scotiabank Place in Ottawa, Ontario!
What a job to open Scotiabank Hockey tonight. They even gave Pittsburgh fans key parts in that opening. Nicely done. We're in the nation's capital. Lieutenant Colonel John By built the Rideau Canal. You know, this is the cradle of hockey, Ottawa, birthplace of the Stanley Cup. You can feel the energy as we get set for the big game this evening as Pittsburgh, all they needed was one win. They get all that rest. They played 290 games coming into this year's playoffs, plus an Olympics for many of the players. But Ottawa found a way in the third overtime to get her done to bring it back to Ottawa for Game 6 this evening. The Penguins and the Sens on Hockey Night in Canada. Energy. They're going to try and find the energy. That's a huge storyline, and Elliot will touch on that a little more right at the top of the clock. But how do you replace the fluids, all that energy that you lost, the muscle tissue breakdown? It's a big thing for physio, and we'll get into that a little bit, as I say, later on. With Kelly Rudy, but first a scene set at the rink. Let's go to Glenn Healy and Gary Galley. Glenn?
Well, you know, I look at the Ottawa Senators' defense, and I commend them. I commend Velchenkov, I commend Phillips, because they have played some really hard minutes against three really big center icemen in Stahl, Malkin, and Crosby. All of them have played over 100 minutes, some of them over 120 minutes, and those are hard minutes to play against. And, you know, even go further. Give Karkner and Campoli a lot of credit, too. Those were weaknesses that Pittsburgh thought they could expose, and they really haven't.
Gary, how about your thoughts on tonight?
Well, you know what? The Ottawa Senators made a few adjustments. They went back to something similar you saw in Game 1, where they activated their D and got them up into the ice. And you saw Matt Karkner and you saw Sutton and Velchenkov, as well as Carlson, join the rush. But the one thing they did do in their end, they blocked a ton of shots. 46 to be exact. The defense in this series has blocked 72 of the 108. And you know, when you're in a situation, when you're facing elimination, you'll do anything to win, and these guys did that. And today, the Pittsburgh Penguins, okay, made some adjustments as well. But look at these blocks. I mean, these guys were sliding everywhere. And what they're doing is they're stepping out in front of the Pittsburgh forwards. They're getting out in front of them, they're leaving them behind them, and they're clogging up the middle of the ice. And because the forwards are falling down towards the top of the circle in compression, it's hard to get the shots through. So what the Penguins have done, they made some adjustments. They worked on this morning. When you get a puck back at the blue line, don't shoot it right away in the same lane you're in. Move. Make some small little movement that allows you to change the shooting direction the puck is going in. And hopefully, you'll get pucks through. And if they do get through, guess what? The first guy to have access to it is going to be a Pittsburgh forward.
You know, the other thing, guys, I don't know if you noticed the positioning of Leclerc through most of the last game. He was spectacular, but very aggressive and outside the blue paint. So, you know, Pittsburgh's also talking about, hey, there could be potentially stuff to the side of him where he's so aggressive. It's a 6x4 easy tap in. But the one thing, after talking to the Penguins, one thing that scares them more than anything is a guy like Leclerc. I mean, you've got lightning in a bottle. A goaltender can steal a series at any time. And if this guy gets hot, and this team is a streaky team in Ottawa, if this is the time that it happens, then Pittsburgh is going to have to go back and play Game 7. I think they're looking at tonight as their Game 7.
Kelly, you might as well pick up on that.
Just watch him. You know, he looks great, doesn't he? And that's the one thing about an overtime victory, especially. It gives you a big jolt of energy. And I know this feeling right now that even though the wear and tear of that last game will be a huge factor coming up, you know, the jolt of energy that it's given him right now, I can tell you right now he's not tired at all. He feels fantastic. Glenn mentioned it before. He's such a hard worker, Leclerc, that I think that's the reason why he is so sharp. You know, he's got great focus. He's a little bit defiant right now. And, Ron, you know I love that in goaltenders, and that he doesn't think that he is properly handled, in my opinion. And so he's trying to prove to people that, you know what, he is a guy that I'm going to make a big impact on this series. What's going to happen after, though, after the warm-up, and in my opinion, about 7 to 10 minutes in the first period, then you'll know if fatigue's going to be a factor. Right now, he's fantastic, and he's not going to feel tired. But we do know, and Elliott's done a lot of research, we'll find out how he's back.
Massage, you know about that. We can talk a lot about electrolytes, but the most important ingredient, of course, is personnel. And Matt Cullen's been such a big impact for Ottawa. Let's go to Elliot Friedman with Matt.
Ron, no forward played more the other night than Matt Cullen. Matt, just for yourself, what is the most important thing that you had to do between Thursday and today to make sure you had the legs for tonight?
Oh, just a lot of rest, and you know, as you play in the league for a few years, you get comfortable with what your body needs and doesn't need, and you know, I was able to get a lot of rest and a lot of fluids and feel good.
42 shots you guys allowed in regulation, 17 in the overtime. What did you do well to slow them down that you have to do this evening?
Well, we simplified our game and we moved the puck a lot quicker than we were throughout regulation. And I think for us that's a big key, is to move the puck quickly and get out of areas of trouble and not allow them to get second chances on their forecheck. And you know, it allows us to get better on our forecheck and create more down their end.
Thanks very much, Matt.
Got it.
Ron?
Well, you talk about Pittsburgh and their depth. Well, there's the depth right there of Ottawa. Matt Cullen is a heck of a hockey player. He created so many opportunities for himself in this game. And besides Peter Regan, this is a guy that really stood out to me. He did so many things well. And I think that he's one of those experienced guys that knows when to use his speed. He doesn't, you know, he doesn't burn it all the time and then expend too much energy. He knows when he has an opportunity. And this is a guy that I think is going to be extremely dangerous in this game. And again, that experience.
Game 2 tonight, San Jose, Colorado. We're going to show Ryan O'Reilly caught on the ice for